Imagine a civilization, advanced beyond its time, existing for centuries in isolation, crafting wonders of metal, then vanishing without a trace. This isn't a fantasy, it's a real-world archaeological enigma that forces us to rethink everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. Deep beneath the modern landscape of Sichuan, China, lay the remnants of such a society, waiting to be rediscovered. A culture that flourished during the global Bronze Age, yet whose unique expression of this era's technology remains one of history's most profound mysteries. What secrets does this forgotten world hold? The Bronze Age, roughly stretching from 3300 to 1200 BCE, was a pivotal period. It was an era defined by the revolutionary mastery of metal, specifically, bronze, an alloy of copper and tin. This new material was harder, sharper, and more durable than anything before it, transforming tools, weapons, and art. Societies across the globe entered a new age of technological advancement and complex social structures, with unique cultural expressions emerging everywhere. But in one corner of ancient China, the Bronze Age took on a truly astonishing, almost alien form, leaving behind a legacy that still baffles experts today. What made their bronze so different? This is Sanxingdui, a name that echoes with unresolved questions. For millennia, this site remained hidden, its treasures buried deep beneath the earth. Only in the late 20th century did its incredible secrets begin to emerge, shattering preconceived notions of ancient Chinese civilization. What we found wasn't just another Bronze Age settlement, it was evidence of a powerful, culturally distinct kingdom unknown to historical records. A kingdom that pushed the boundaries of Bronze Age technology and artistry to an extent previously unimaginable in this region. Their story, told through astonishing artifacts, challenges our understanding of prehistoric interactions. Our story begins, not with an archaeologist's careful plan, but with an accidental twist of fate. In 1929, a local brickmaker in Guanghan, Sichuan province, while digging for clay, stumbled upon a jade cache. This initial discovery was intriguing, hinting at something significant beneath the surface. It was a tantalizing glimpse into an ancient world, a whisper from the deep past. But it would be decades before the true scale of what lay hidden in the earth would be revealed. The Bronze Age had left a calling card, almost unnoticed, waiting for its full unveiling. What ancient hands had crafted these hidden jades? Fast forward to 1986. Construction workers, expanding a brick factory, once again broke ground in the same area. This time, their shovels struck not just jade, but something far more extraordinary. They uncovered two large pits filled to the brim with thousands of artifacts, gold, jade, ivory, and, most astonishingly, colossal bronze sculptures unlike anything ever seen before in China, or perhaps anywhere from the Bronze Age. It was an archaeological earthquake, instantly rewriting textbooks. These were not mere trinkets, they were masterpieces of metallurgy and art, speaking of a highly advanced, unknown culture. What secrets did these pits guard? The discovery of the two sacrificial pits at Sanxingdui ignited a frenzy of excavation. These pits were not mere garbage dumps, but carefully prepared repositories of ritual objects, deliberately buried and sometimes ritually burned. The sheer quantity and quality of the bronze artifacts indicated immense wealth and sophisticated craftsmanship. It was clear this was no ordinary settlement. This was a center of power, a place where people commanded resources and skill to produce breathtaking works of Bronze Age art and technology. But why were these precious objects interred in such a manner? Was it a farewell or an offering? Let's zoom out for a moment and define our terms. The Bronze Age isn't just a catchy historical label, it represents a fundamental shift in human history. Before bronze, stone, bone, and wood were the primary materials for tools and weapons. Bronze changed everything. It allowed for stronger, more complex tools, increasing agricultural output and military capabilities. It spurred trade networks for copper and tin, fostering long-distance connections. This era led to the rise of complex urban centers, social stratification, and the earliest forms of state organization. The mastery of bronze was a marker of advanced civilization, a key to unlock new societal potential. But how did Sanxingdui fit into this global transformation? The ability to smelt copper and tin, precisely mix them into an alloy, and cast intricate shapes was a monumental technological leap. It required specialized knowledge, access to raw materials often from distant lands, and a highly organized workforce. Bronze became a symbol of power and prestige. Rulers controlled its production, using bronze weapons to dominate and bronze ritual vessels to legitimize their authority, connecting with ancestral spirits or deities. So, when we look at the immense bronze output of Sanxingdui, we're not just seeing art, we're seeing the signature of a powerful, hierarchical society. A society with a deep understanding of metallurgy and a profound connection to the divine. What did their bronze tell us about their beliefs? Before Sanxingdui, our understanding of the Chinese Bronze Age was largely dominated by the Shang and Zhou dynasties. These cultures, centered in the Yellow River Valley, were renowned for their exquisite bronze ritual vessels, often adorned with animal motifs called tao tai. Their bronze technology was highly sophisticated, reflecting a centralized and powerful state. The Shang bronzes, in particular, were considered the pinnacle of ancient Chinese metallurgy. But Sanxingdui, located far to the southwest in the Yangtze River region, presented a dramatically different, entirely unexpected Bronze Age artistic tradition. It was a deviation, an alternative narrative, pushing the known boundaries of this pivotal era. The revelation of Sanxingdui shattered this neatly defined picture. Here was a Bronze Age culture contemporary with the Shang, but whose artistic style, religious iconography, and even certain technological approaches were strikingly distinct. Their bronzes didn't feature the familiar Tao Tai masks, instead, they presented monstrous, almost alien human-like faces, enormous eyes, and exaggerated features. It was a sudden, unexplained burst of unique creativity. This wasn't merely a regional variation, it was a completely different artistic and cultural language, spoken in bronze. How could such a sophisticated Bronze Age civilization exist concurrently, yet so independently, from the dominant powers of the time? The puzzle deepened. The core of the Sanxingdui mystery lies within its enigmatic sacrificial pits. Pit 1 and Pit 2, discovered just meters apart, were not graves or simple caches. Evidence suggests the objects within were deliberately broken, burned, and then carefully interred. It was a highly ritualized act, perhaps performed in a time of crisis or transition. Imagine a society burying its most precious religious and artistic expressions, vast amounts of its Bronze Age wealth, in a ceremonial act of profound significance. What compelled them to do this? Was it an offering to appease angry deities, a way to seal off a past era, or a desperate measure to hide treasures from an invading force? The purpose remains a tantalizing question. The sheer volume of bronze objects recovered from these pits is staggering. We're talking about tons of meticulously crafted pieces, colossal masks, towering human figures, and intricate trees. The amount of raw material, the labor, and the specialized skill required to produce such a collection speaks volumes about the wealth and organized complexity of the Sanxingdui society during the Bronze Age. It wasn't just decorative, it was a display of power, a testament to their mastery over this revolutionary metal. This wasn't a small, isolated village, this was a major cultural and political center, thriving with technological prowess and artistic vision. How did they sustain such massive production? The deliberate burial of these objects essentially froze a moment in time, preserving a snapshot of the Sanxingdui culture at its peak. It's as if they packed away their entire spiritual and material world, sealing it off from the future. For over 3 millennia, these treasures lay undisturbed, silent witnesses to a forgotten era. Their re-emergence in the late 20th century was like unlocking a time capsule, offering an unprecedented look into a Bronze Age civilization that had otherwise completely vanished from human memory and historical records. But this preservation came at a cost. It leaves us to wonder why they were buried, and what followed. Was it a planned disappearance, or a forced one? The sheer scale of the Bronze Age production at Sanxingdui implies a highly organized society capable of extracting, transporting, and processing vast quantities of raw materials. This required a robust labor force, skilled artisans, and sophisticated administrative oversight. Such an enterprise suggests a powerful ruling elite, likely with religious authority, who could command such resources. The wealth wasn't just in the bronze itself, but in the collective human effort, ingenuity, and cultural value placed upon these objects. Sanxingdui wasn't just a city, it was the heart of a kingdom, a testament to the organizational power achievable in the Bronze Age. What kind of leadership could inspire such monumental artistic and technological feats? Among the most iconic discoveries are the colossal bronze masks. Some are over a meter high, with exaggerated, almost surreal features, piercing, protruding eyes, massive ears, and often grim, enigmatic smiles. These aren't realistic portraits, they are powerful, stylized representations, perhaps of deities, ancestors, or mythical beings. Their scale alone is breathtaking, a testament to the advanced bronze casting techniques employed. These masks radiate an otherworldly presence, demanding attention and inspiring awe. They are a vivid expression of a unique Bronze Age spiritual worldview, unlike any other known from contemporary China. Who were these beings they represented, and what power did they wield? The features of the Sanxingdui masks are profoundly unsettling and captivating. Those wide, bulging eyes, sometimes extending outward, coupled with enormous, often rectangular ears, give the masks an almost alien appearance. This deliberate exaggeration was clearly symbolic, intended to convey divinity or supernatural power. They are a stark departure from the more human-like representations found in other Bronze Age cultures. This distinct iconography suggests a unique belief system, a different way of perceiving the divine and the sacred. What kind of vision did the Sanxingdui people possess to create such strikingly distinct and powerful imagery? It hints at a cultural isolation, or perhaps, a bold independent artistic development within the Bronze Age. Beyond the masks, Sanxingdui also yielded towering bronze human figures, some standing over 2 meters tall. These figures are often depicted in elaborate robes, with hands clasped or holding abstract objects, perhaps symbolic scepters. They exude an air of authority and mystery, likely representing priests, shamans, or even kings who served as intermediaries between the human and spiritual worlds. Their slender forms and distinctive facial features echo those of the masks, reinforcing a consistent, yet unfamiliar, Bronze Age artistic tradition. These figures stand as silent sentinels, embodying the power and beliefs of a civilization lost to time. What were they holding? What message were they conveying to the spiritual realm? Perhaps the most intricate and symbolically rich artifacts are the massive bronze sacred trees. One of them, nearly 4 meters tall, depicts 9 birds perched on branches, with a dragon spiraling up the trunk. These trees likely represent a cosmic axis, connecting heaven, earth, and the underworld, a common motif in many ancient cultures. But the Sanxingdui versions are uniquely elaborate, a masterpiece of Bronze Age casting, showcasing incredible detail and delicate balance. They are not merely sculptures, they are complex religious symbols, possibly related to sun worship or the journey of souls. They speak of a profound spiritual connection to nature and cosmology, expressed through the pinnacle of their metalworking skill. What stories did these ancient trees tell? The art of Sanxingdui stands in stark contrast to the more familiar Bronze Age traditions of the Shang and Zhou dynasties. While Shang bronzes emphasized zoomorphic forms and precise geometric patterns, Sanxingdui leaned into anthropomorphic and even monstrous human-like depictions, with a dramatic, almost theatrical flair. This divergence is significant. It implies either a remarkable degree of independent cultural evolution or connections with artistic traditions from regions far beyond what was previously imagined for ancient China. The question isn't just what is this art, but where did it come from, and why is it so different? The Bronze Age, it seems, was far more diverse than we ever knew. Did they share influences, or evolve in isolation? The question of who created these incredible Bronze Age artifacts is at the heart of the Sanxingdui mystery. Were they an indigenous people of Sichuan, developing their own unique culture? Or did they have connections to other groups, perhaps even distant ones, explaining the unprecedented artistic styles and advanced technology? The lack of historical records makes this question particularly vexing. We have their magnificent creations, but the creators themselves remain largely faceless. What language did they speak? What were their names? The bronzes whisper of a sophisticated society, but their human story remains largely untold. The riddle of their identity persists, an enduring puzzle of the Bronze Age. The Sanxingdui artisans weren't just artists, they were master metallurgists, pushing the boundaries of Bronze Age technology. The casting of such enormous and complex objects, like the colossal masks and trees, required a highly sophisticated understanding of metallurgy. They likely employed a technique called piece mold casting, where multiple clay molds were created and then assembled to form the complete object. This allowed for intricate details and large-scale creations. The precision and scale demonstrate a level of technical expertise that rivals, and in some ways surpasses, that of other contemporary Bronze Age cultures. This wasn't primitive work, it was the result of generations of accumulated knowledge and innovation. The intricacy of the Sanxingdui bronzes raises an intriguing question: were some of their advanced casting techniques unique to them, perhaps even lost after their disappearance? While piece mold casting was known in ancient China, the specific methods used to create such colossal, structurally complex pieces with delicate features remain a subject of intense study. It implies a high degree of specialization and perhaps a secret knowledge passed down through generations of Bronze Age craftsmen. The precision required to cast these massive forms without structural failure, sometimes integrating multiple components, speaks to a profound understanding of materials science and engineering. Did their techniques vanish with them, or were fragments adapted by others? The answer remains elusive. The very composition of the Sanxingdui bronze holds clues. Analysis has shown a high lead content in some of the alloys, which would have made the molten metal more fluid, allowing it to fill intricate molds more easily for complex designs. This wasn't a standard recipe, it was a deliberate choice, reflecting a sophisticated experimental approach to metallurgy within the Bronze Age. The precise ratios of copper, tin, and lead indicate a nuanced understanding of how different elements affect the metal's properties, a kind of ancient material science. This chemical signature further distinguishes Sanxingdui from other contemporary Bronze Age cultures, suggesting an independent development of metallurgical expertise. What other secrets are hidden in their metal formulas? To produce such a vast quantity of large bronze artifacts required an industrial-scale operation, even by Bronze Age standards. This involved not just the skilled artisans, but a network of mines, smelters, and workshops. It necessitated trade routes to acquire copper from distant regions, and tin, which was even scarcer. The logistical challenges alone were immense. The fact that the Sanxingdui culture successfully managed this enterprise for centuries speaks to a highly efficient and organized society, a true powerhouse of the Bronze Age. This wasn't merely local craft, this was a state-level industry, fueling a rich ritual life and displaying immense power. How far did their influence stretch to acquire these vital resources? In many ways, Sanxingdui represents an apex of Bronze Age technological and artistic achievement. The scale, complexity, and unique aesthetic of its bronze artifacts pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible during this period. It offers a counter-narrative to the prevailing understanding of early Chinese civilization, demonstrating that multiple, distinct centers of cultural innovation flourished simultaneously. Sanxingdui stands as a powerful reminder of the incredible diversity and ingenuity present in the Bronze Age, challenging us to look beyond single narratives and embrace the richness of humanity's past. Their mastery of bronze was not just technical, it was a cultural statement, a declaration of their unique identity. What legacy did they hope to leave? Here lies one of the most frustrating aspects of the Sanxingdui mystery, the complete absence of written records. While contemporary Bronze Age cultures like the Shang had oracle bone script, Sanxingdui offers no inscriptions, no texts, no historical accounts to tell us their story. We are left to interpret their sophisticated material culture in silence. This lack of written language is a crucial missing piece, preventing us from understanding their beliefs, their history, their rulers, and their eventual fate directly from their own perspective. It's like finding a magnificent library, but all the books are blank. The Bronze Age secrets of Sanxingdui remain locked away without a key. How can such a complex society exist without writing? Without written records, the spiritual world of Sanxingdui remains largely a mystery. The colossal masks and figures clearly depict deities or powerful intermediaries, but we don't know their names, their attributes, or the specific rituals performed in their honor. Were they gods of nature? Ancestor spirits? Cosmic beings? The unique iconography suggests a distinct pantheon, perhaps a rich mythology that shaped their Bronze Age worldview. We can only infer their beliefs from the visual language of their bronzes, leaving much to speculation. These figures once held profound meaning, perhaps guiding a thriving civilization, but their stories are now lost to us. What did these powerful beings demand of their followers? The deliberate breaking, burning, and burial of the magnificent bronze artifacts in the pits strongly suggest a profound ritual purpose. This wasn't casual disposal, it was a ceremonial act of immense significance, perhaps a grand offering to the gods, a purification ritual, or a solemn farewell. The nature of the objects, masks, figures, and sacred trees, all points to a deeply religious society where art and spirituality were intertwined. But the exact meaning of this ritual, why it was performed, and what circumstances surrounded it, are still unknown. It's a snapshot of a highly sacred event, frozen in time, inviting endless interpretation. What critical moment in their Bronze Age history prompted such an act? Sanxingdui's distinctiveness raises the question of cultural isolation versus interaction. While some elements, like jade artifacts and certain vessel types, show general parallels with other Bronze Age Chinese cultures, the overall artistic style and religious iconography are profoundly unique. Was Sanxingdui a highly self-contained kingdom, developing its culture largely independently? Or did it engage in long-distance trade and cultural exchange, yet selectively adopt and transform influences into something entirely its own? The presence of elephant tusks in the pits suggests connections to southern regions or even Southeast Asia. But the core identity of Sanxingdui remains an enigma, a unique flower blooming in the heart of the Bronze Age. How did they maintain such distinctiveness? Perhaps the greatest enigma of Sanxingdui is its abrupt disappearance. Around 1100 BCE, at the close of the Bronze Age, the culture seemingly vanished. The sophisticated bronze production ceased, the city appears to have been abandoned, and its unique artistic tradition fades from the archaeological record. It's as if the lights went out. There are no definitive answers. Was it environmental catastrophe, a shift in trade routes, internal strife, or an invasion? The nearby site of Jinsha, which exhibits some Sanxingdui-like elements, suggests a possible migration or successor culture, but the core identity of Sanxingdui dissolved. What could cause such a powerful Bronze Age civilization to simply cease to exist? The sudden silence is deafening. The silence of Sanxingdui is not merely the absence of written words, it's the profound historical void surrounding its existence and disappearance. While other Bronze Age cultures left behind narratives, genealogies, and chronicles, Sanxingdui exists as a series of stunning objects, beautiful but mute. Historians struggle to integrate it into the broader narrative of ancient China because it doesn't fit neatly into existing frameworks. It's a magnificent outlier, a powerful testament to a unique path taken during the Bronze Age, yet its story remains untold by its own people. This great silence forces us to rely entirely on archaeological interpretation, a slow, painstaking process that still leaves more questions than answers. What could erase an entire kingdom from memory? The legacy of Sanxingdui is one of both unparalleled artistry and profound mystery. A civilization that reached incredible heights in Bronze Age metalworking and spiritual expression, only to disappear from the historical stage, leaving behind only these enigmatic artifacts. Their impact on our understanding of ancient China is immense, forcing scholars to reconsider the complexities and regional diversity of the Bronze Age. Yet, the full story, who they were, what they believed, and what led to their dramatic end, remains elusive. The Sanxingdui culture serves as a humbling reminder of how much of human history still lies hidden, waiting for an accidental shovel or a dedicated archaeologist to bring it to light. What lessons can we draw from such a complete vanishing? The evidence at Sanxingdui suggests not a slow decline, but a relatively sudden abandonment. The artifacts in the pits were deliberately destroyed and buried, a final act before the site was vacated. This implies a crisis, a critical turning point that forced the inhabitants to leave their magnificent Bronze Age city. Was it a natural disaster, a massive flood from the nearby Minjiang River? Or was it human conflict, an invasion from a rival power, perhaps the nascent Zhou dynasty expanding its influence? Without written accounts, we are left to piece together clues from the archaeological record, like detectives sifting through an ancient, silent crime scene. What event was so cataclysmic to necessitate such a dramatic end? The deliberate burial of such vast treasures is perhaps the most captivating aspect of the Sanxingdui riddle. Why go to such immense effort to destroy and enter wealth, rather than carry it away or simply abandon it? This act suggests a profound ritual or strategic intention. Was it an offering to appease angry gods during a time of crisis? A way to seal off sacred objects from desecration by invaders? Or perhaps, a symbolic act marking the end of an era, a transition to a new spiritual or political order? The Bronze Age people of Sanxingdui poured their beliefs and their future into those pits, leaving us with a deeply moving, yet ultimately undecipherable, message. What were they trying to tell us with their final act? The discovery of Sanxingdui has fundamentally reshaped our understanding of early Chinese civilization. It shattered the long-held belief that the Yellow River Valley was the sole cradle of Chinese culture, demonstrating that powerful, distinct Bronze Age cultures flourished simultaneously in other regions, particularly in the Yangtze River Basin. It forces us to adopt a more pluralistic view of ancient China, acknowledging multiple centers of innovation and unique cultural trajectories. Sanxingdui is no longer just an anomaly, it's a vital piece of a larger, more complex puzzle, revealing the rich tapestry of Bronze Age societies. How many more Sanxingduis are waiting to be found, challenging our historical narratives? The mystery of Sanxingdui is far from solved. Recent excavations at the site have uncovered new sacrificial pits, yielding even more incredible artifacts, including previously unseen types of bronze vessels, gold masks, and silk remnants. These ongoing discoveries continue to deepen our understanding, offering tantalizing new clues, but also generating new questions. Each piece of recovered bronze or jade adds another layer to the puzzle, pushing the boundaries of the Bronze Age narrative even further. The story of Sanxingdui is still being written, one artifact at a time, reminding us that history is a dynamic, ever-unfolding narrative, full of surprises. What new wonders await beneath the soil? Sanxingdui stands as a powerful symbol of the Bronze Age's hidden depths. It's a testament to human ingenuity and artistic expression during a pivotal era of technological change, yet it remains shrouded in profound mystery. The colossal bronzes, the enigmatic masks, the absence of writing, and the sudden disappearance combine to form one of history's most compelling archaeological riddles. It challenges us to confront the limits of our knowledge, to accept that even the most advanced societies can vanish without explanation, leaving behind only silent echoes. The Bronze Age was a time of immense cultural diversity, and Sanxingdui is a glittering, yet perplexing, facet of that intricate tapestry. What else does the earth hold, waiting to surprise us? From the accidental discovery by a brickmaker to the ongoing revelations of new pits, Sanxingdui has continuously defied expectations. It's not just a collection of beautiful objects, it's a living question mark, a civilization that mastered bronze and created a unique artistic vision, only to step back into the shadows of history. The Bronze Age wasn't just a period of technological advancement, it was a canvas for diverse human experiments in culture, religion, and social organization. Sanxingdui is perhaps the most striking example of how rich and varied those experiments could be, and how much we still have to learn from them. The legacy isn't answers, but rather a compelling invitation to keep asking. What does Sanxingdui truly represent? Sanxingdui compels us to imagine a vibrant Bronze Age kingdom, with its own language, its own gods, and its own unique traditions, flourishing for centuries in what we once considered a cultural periphery. It was a kingdom that produced some of the most astonishing bronze art in human history, demonstrating an unparalleled level of skill and vision. Though its voice remains silent, its echoes resonate through the ages, reminding us that history is not a linear progression but a complex web of interwoven, often independent, stories. And among those stories, Sanxingdui shines as one of the brightest, and most baffling, examples of human achievement and enigma. The Bronze Age was truly a time of wonders, many still hidden. The search for answers at Sanxingdui continues. Archaeologists are still meticulously sifting through the earth, employing advanced technologies to uncover every possible scrap of information. Geophysics, carbon dating, and chemical analysis are all brought to bear on this Bronze Age puzzle. Each fragment of pottery, every preserved seed, every structural remains contributes to slowly building a more complete picture of this enigmatic civilization. It's a painstaking process, but one driven by the profound desire to understand a lost culture that dared to create art so unique, and then vanished so completely. The Earth still holds many secrets, and the Bronze Age era often holds the deepest ones. Ultimately, Sanxingdui has rewritten a chapter of world history. It's a testament to the fact that our historical narratives are always provisional, always subject to revision with new discoveries. This Bronze Age marvel reminds us that the past is vast and full of surprises, far richer and more diverse than we often imagine. Sanxingdui challenges us to keep an open mind, to question established truths, and to marvel at the boundless creativity and ingenuity of ancient peoples. It's not just a story of bronze, it's a story of humanity's enduring capacity for wonder, for creating something truly unique, and for leaving behind mysteries that fascinate us millennia later. What other worlds wait to be rewritten? The enduring fascination with Sanxingdui lies precisely in its unresolved nature. It's a powerful reminder that even with all our modern tools and knowledge, some stories from the past resist easy answers. The Bronze Age people of Sanxingdui crafted objects that speak volumes, yet they remain stubbornly silent about their own history. And perhaps that's part of their allure. They invite us to fill in the blanks, to ponder the what-ifs and hows, engaging our imagination as much as our intellect. This magnificent, mysterious culture from China's Bronze Age continues to captivate, a timeless enigma that keeps us looking back, and wondering what else history still holds.